Okay, you ready? So bringing a dog back to the US from China or any country that the CDC considers high risk for rabies isn't a matter of just buying a flight ticket. It's a paperwork-heavy, deadline-driven, stress-inducing process, and if you get it wrong, your dog might be denied entry at the border. After years of living in China, I just brought my dog back to the US, and in this video, I'll go through the exact process that I went through, from rabies titer tests to quarantine rules to flight logistics and import permits. This guide is aimed at expats in China, but most of what I cover will apply to anyone wanting to bring a dog to the US from a high-risk country. So if you've heard horror stories and you want to avoid becoming one, stick around, and I'll give you a step-by-step process of the journey that I went through bringing my dog all the way from Shanghai, China to Rochester, New York. Okay, so you've rescued your puppy from your neighborhood compound, intending for them to only stay one night, just like I did. And after a few years together, you actually need to face the fact that your dog may be better off spending the rest of their life in your home country. So before getting into the whole process of preparing your dog for international travel, it goes without saying that you need to find a good veterinarian. Love Pet, which is located in Huazhao Town in Minhang District on the outer edge of Shanghai, has been my dog's vet since she was a puppy. A good vet is much more than someone who can just give shots and do routine checkups. They're also someone who knows your dog, they can catch problems early on, and they can guide you on everything from diet to exercise. Also, when you're moving your pet across borders, the right vet is invaluable. They're the ones who can help you handle some of the paperwork, they can help schedule health checks and do vaccinations, so that you don't get stuck with any delays or quarantine. And that's exactly what Love Pet did for me and my dog, and they're a large part of the reason that my dog made it safely with me from China to the US. They really treat her like family, they know all of her quirks, they keep our visits stress-free, and they genuinely care for her well-being. It's also not just the medical side, they've also got a great grooming service that keeps my dog looking and feeling great. She's always super happy when she gets done with the grooming at Love Pet. So I'd like to give a big shout out to all the folks at Love Pet for their amazing care and service over these past 4.5 years. Now just a quick note before we dive in. This is my personal experience bringing my dog to the US from China. The process can vary depending on your dog's breed, which airline you choose, and which route you choose. So take this as a case study and not a one-size-fits-all manual. With that said, here's how it all played out for me. So microchipping your dog is a definite must if you're bringing them into the US from overseas. It's required for import compliance, and also as a bonus, it helps identify your dog if they ever get lost. It's one quick procedure and then they're set for life. Also make sure that your dog's microchip is ISO compliant so that it can be read by scanners used at ports and quarantine stations worldwide. So rabies vaccinations are mandatory for US import. They must be given at least 30 days before the rabies titer test, and they need to be kept up to date annually, as well as recorded in a government-issued vaccination booklet. A good veterinarian will make sure the timing is exact so you meet every requirement, as well as keep your book up to date. So once your dog is microchipped and has their rabies vaccination recorded in the official vaccination book, then they're eligible for a government-issued vaccination card. This card is the only proof accepted for import, so keep this current. So step 4 is registering your dog with the local public security bureau. In many cities, it's required by law, and it ensures your dog's microchip and vaccination records are officially tied to you as the owner. There are a couple of mini programs, WeChat mini programs that you can use. One is called the Ban, and this is a government program. There's also the MyDao. This is a third-party WeChat mini program. I personally had my vet, Love Pet, do the registration for me. When you've completed the process, you will end up with a license like this as a card. There's also a tag that can be attached to your dog's collar. So step 5 is the rabies titer test, and this test in China usually takes between 3 to 6 weeks to be completed. The test must be done at a CDC-approved lab, such as the National Reference Laboratory in Changchun or the Military Veterinary Research Institute, or other authorized facilities. You need to plan early so that the results are ready before your travel date. The results must be submitted at least 45 days before your flight. My test took about 3 weeks when I submitted it in April, but keep in mind that it could take up to 4 to 6 weeks depending on the time of year and the holiday schedule. So once you've set your departure date, then you need to go ahead and book your flight, but make sure to call the airline first. Some carriers won't fly pets in the summer due to heat and long layovers, may require extra transit documents. So be sure to check the pet regulations, crate requirements, and route options so that there are no surprises on the travel day. Step 7 is buying your dog's travel carrier. You need to make sure that it meets your airline's regulations and is the right size so that your dog can stand, turn around, and lie down comfortably. You should start crate training weeks before the flight so your dog sees it as a safe, familiar space, not something new on travel day. I will be honest, I didn't do as well as I could have with crate training. I kept it in the living room, but I didn't really get my dog inside as often as I should have before the flight. In any case, she was fine when I got her into the crate on the day of travel. Step 8 is to apply for the U.S. import permit on the CDC website. Your vet also needs to add their signature, and they will likely need to help document which vaccines your dog has received. So step 9 is booking your dog's health check at the Entry-Exit Bureau. You can do this on their official website, but it's entirely in Chinese and it's very tricky to navigate. So this is a case where using an experienced agent can make this step much faster and far less stressful. I personally did use an agent, and I'll walk you through the process in the following slides. So an agent can save you a lot of time and effort with the health check. Mine booked the appointment, picked up my dog, took her there, and then brought her back 3 hours later. He offered great advice and knew the process inside and out. The downside was that his transport fee only covered the health check and not the trip to the airport, as I thought his message had indicated, and I also never heard from him again after the drop-off. I also didn't meet him personally at the airport. It was one of his assistants. But still, it saved me money on taxi fare to the health check, and it saved me a lot of hassle as well. So here we are. It's our last night in Shanghai. Tomorrow, my dog leaves behind the only home she's ever known for a journey halfway across the world. She's calm right now, curled up on the sofa, unaware of the flights, the paperwork, and the planning that got us here. I just hope I have done everything that I can to make this trip as easy as possible on her. Yeah, he's here. I found him.
不会，
不会，
对，他是在机腹下面。
知道。
Sir, international.
我的狗放好了吗？我的狗。 Okay, so here we are. It's 3:18 a.m. I'm sitting here in the lounge restaurant area of the TWA, the iconic TWA Hotel, connected to JFK Airport. I'm lucky enough to have run into my lovely colleague Carmen. We were actually on the same flight. Carmen's heading to the Bahamas to take up her next teaching position. So best wishes to her. She's leaving in a few hours. But I'm just sitting here and have gone through the whole process of filling in my documents, getting Wilsie on board in Shanghai. She was transferred in Seoul to the next flight, and in New York in JFK, I arrived, got my bags, and then came over here. This is a different terminal than the one that we arrived at, and was here for about an hour, and then got a call from a number I didn't recognize, which I almost didn't answer, and that was actually Asiana Airlines saying that my dog was over in Terminal 1 and in the cargo area. So they asked me to come pick her up, and I went back there, and she was indeed there on the floor with the Customs and Border Patrol officials next to her, and they asked me for the documents, which I showed them, and they said, okay, you're good to go. And then I was like, well, what about the reservation I made? Because I made this reservation at the ARC, which is the CDC approved facility that's connected to the airport. I made this reservation online and paid them $1,200, which from what I understood meant that they were going to come and pick her up and bring her to the facility. So they didn't know what was going on, and finally one of them agreed to call the ARC for me because I don't have a SIM card here in the US yet. And when they called the ARC, they realized that indeed the ARC was supposed to come and pick her up, which they did. And when the ARC people arrived, they said, apologies, we should have taken care of this. It was 25% the CBP fault, because when a dog arrives, they're supposed to call the ARC and let them know that an animal has arrived. But they said 75% of it was their fault. So in any case, that raises the question, what if I hadn't answered that phone call? When I answered the call, it was a number I didn't recognize, and I wasn't going to answer it, but I could also have been asleep. I was going to get a hotel room. So if I didn't answer that call, that means that Wilsie could still be on the floor in the cargo area. I don't know where she would be. It's a really scary thought to have, but I don't want to start pointing fingers yet, because I guess the natural instinct would be to sort of like say, these incompetent whoever people, but I have to think that they do this quite a bit. I know that the CBP people do a lot more than just dogs. They are responsible for checking everything that comes across the border. But geez, man, a dog coming in and nobody's communicating with anybody is it's hard to put my head around that. In any case, Wilsie's with the people at the ARC at this point. She's safe, she's being fed, she's going to be out of her carrier, and I'll have to wait until tomorrow at some point for an update. They have to do her check in the morning. About 9 o'clock is when the vet will come in, and then they have to send the results to the CDC, and then they have to wait for approval before they can release her to me. So that's the next step. They said it might not be tomorrow. It could also be the next day. So in that case, I'll start playing hotel bingo, I suppose, and go around and see where there's a room. But I'm going to stay here for a little bit longer, and in a few hours they open this place up for daytime day tripper short stays, so we'll see if they have that available. Anyways, that's the update from TWA Hotel in New York. Peace. Okay, so it is 2:54 in the afternoon on July 1st. I'm still here at the TWA Hotel, this little restaurant area, and I did get an email from the CDC, and it says this. It says, this email serves as a confirmation of your reservation for Wilsie at the ARC on 30th of June 2025 on behalf of Michael Hicks. Wilsie is a female, intact, bicolored, mixed breed, other, etc., etc. You are required to declare the dog to U.S. Customs and Border Protection and present this reservation email to the customs officer upon arrival. Your dog Wilsie is required to be transported by the airline or the ARC to the ARC. Failure to complete the CDC required services at the ARC immediately upon arrival will result in your dog being denied entry and returned to the country of departure at your expense. So this email arrived after my flight. This is the day after. And this is after the Customs and Border Protection officers have already told me that I'm free to just take Wilsey and be on my way. That was yesterday, last night when we arrived. And that was the point when I told them that I don't think that's correct. I think that I need to declare her. And they didn't want to do that. They didn't think that was necessary. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. So I'm waiting for an email from the ARC at this point to let me know that she's done or that the CDC has signed off and that I can pick her up. Now the next thing is how to get to this facility. I've been to the station. So there's this air train that connects all the terminals, and it also goes to a stop called Federal Circle, which is where there are rental cars available, which is where I will rent a car. But that's the closest stop to the ARC facility. According to ChatGPT, it's a short walk. According to the map, it's like over a kilometer. So I have to go to Federal Circle with my luggage, take the luggage over there, pick her up, and then probably, I assume, carry all my luggage plus her in her carrier back to Federal Circle where I can rent a car and then be on my way to Rochester. I have read reviews about this, about the ARC on Yelp, and there are people saying that that this ARC has charged them extra when the animal hasn't been ready in time. So I mean, it's completely out of my hands, and it sounds like it's out of their hands also because they're waiting for the CDC. They say they're waiting for the CDC to give approval. So I'm gonna find out if they're gonna try to charge me extra for whatever time they're keeping her, and at that point, if they say that they need more money from me, I'm going to start using the whole, I'm creating this YouTube video weapon. So I don't know, this whole experience is crazy. I'm happy to do it for my dog. I'm glad she's safe. I just want to get her out of here and I want to get on the road. I haven't slept really in a bed in a couple of days now, so hopefully make it through this. 326. Okay. What kind of car is it?
It's an SUV.
Okay, so we've arrived at the ARC. As I said, I got the email this morning at 3:18 a.m. saying that Wilsey was ready to be picked up, so we'll see what happens next. Wondering if they're going to charge me for another overnight fee. Let's see. So we're ringing this bell to get them to come. First time. Nobody's answered. This is the second time. Okay, so directions to go all the way around over here. See what happens. Okay, so it's going to be one of these two doors, but not sure. There's no way to open them. The doors are locked. Does anybody actually know what's going on in this place? Like, can't open that one.
I received the email.
Yep, got the email at 3:18 a.m.
Okay, so I've already emailed the owner, so I'm gonna see if
All right, just
they have.
timer now. Let that.
Okay. You okay? All right. All right. We finally met each other. We finally saw each other. Okay. You been okay? America. Welcome to the U.S. Welcome. Welcome. Let's go home. A 5-hour drive now. 6 hours. So I'm gonna get back in here just for a little bit, just to the car, just till we get to the car. Okay, so we're getting ready to go. Drive back to Rochester. I just found a little place back here where they let dogs run around, so it's this little fenced-in area. It's not actual grass, it's turf. So this is it. Yeah, I don't know. Just a fenced-in little turf area. It's got a hose there. Probably spray it down after all these dogs pee in there. Anyway, that's the Ark. Can you sit down? Okay, here we are. We're about ready to go. You're gonna lie down. Got a long trip ahead of us. So that's our story. We did make it safe and sound, despite there being a few hiccups and complications along the way. In all, I think the process is very doable. I'm not the first person to have brought my dog back to the US from China. It's important that you follow all the steps that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to answer any comments. Remember, my experience is unique. Not everybody's going to travel the same route with the same airline. The incident at JFK was hopefully just an anomaly, and hopefully if you're flying through JFK and using the Ark, your experience will be a little bit better, but be prepared for some delays. It's a very busy airport, and from what I understand, it's very last minute. I didn't get my notification until 2 days before the flight that my reservation was confirmed, and that seems to be the case with a lot of people who are using the Ark. So for now, I'm signing off. Wilsey and I thank you for watching this. If you like the video, stay tuned for upcoming content. Feel free to hit like and subscribe, as well as share this video with a friend who you think might find it helpful. Until the next one, peace. Go.